back up in this thing. It's another episode. And we're recording this like day after Christmas. So I don't know. I guess I don't know if you want to you feel like maybe giving like a little recap on your Christmas, Trent.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was like I was saying to you, it was a lot better than I expected. So, I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. It was different, not like being super hungover like it was last year. So like I actually got to enjoy like the food and that aspect. Yeah, I felt like I just felt like it was good. I felt like me and my brother always just really enjoy hanging out with our cousins because they're not closer to my age. What am I saying? He's just one of my cousins just turning 19. So there you go in that respect. Like they're pretty young still, but like, you know what I mean? It's
like you could chill.
Yeah, pretty much. So we enjoy kicking it with them at times. And so yeah, that's interesting. And we hardly ever get to see them because they live different places, basically. We'll put it that way.
I feel you.
And yeah, the other side of the family and mom and all that was good.
Everybody was good. But could you list any of the foods or any of maybe like a 1-2 gift you might have got that you were like, yo, this is dope? Or maybe even just like if you had like you and your brother or whatever, if y'all had like a dope ass experience or whatever, like I don't know if you guys like, whether you were blazing or just tripping or whatever.
I have a story to tell you off camera though.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anyways,
we must protect the innocent or whatever.
Oh, in this case, yes. But anyways, it was some good food. Just turkey as always, like it's traditional that way. I had section of pan that was really, really good. That was really tasty. I haven't had that in ages. It's a dessert. You'd have to look up the recipes on that one. Flash cut to a picture of it right now.
Right, yeah. But, you said section. So what does it consist of though? Like
it's like a chocolate, but it has like a bait, like almost like a pie base to it. You know what I mean? But it's very like I don't know. It's not really like a cake, and it's not really like a pie. It's kind of like in the middle somewhere there, I guess. I don't know what it's considered, frankly, but it was good. I haven't had that in at least 2 years, so that was good. And the standout gift to me, I got the second and third Lord of the Rings books. I'm reading the first one right now, so that was really cool.
That's dope. That's dope.
That's pretty much it. How about you?
No, man, my shit was good in the sense of got to see like a good portion of the family, like my immediate family, like siblings, parents, nephews type shit. But then got to see some extended family via like FaceTime, WhatsApp, like different like video calls or whatever. So that was cool too. Yeah, bro. Like it was one of those ones where it's like after like the like unfortunate like earlier in the year like situations, but you get to like collect your thoughts and like chill with family and be connected, and it's a positive time. No one's stressing and things of that nature. Like it felt nice, bro. Like me and my sisters, like we exchanged gifts or whatever, but this year we kind of outdid ourselves or whatever. And it wasn't about like the gifts, like how we were talking about last episode, how sometimes people just go into like the straight up materialistic, like it's more people bought things that people really needed. Like it was a lot of helpful gifts. Like it wasn't like a lot of grandstanding gifts, like a whole bunch of jewelry or something like that, when instead you could buy like a gift card to, let's just say, Canadian Tire or some type of place where you can go and buy something to help my sisters just bought a house, right? So something to get at your house or whatever, just practical gifts, man. But they were dope, man. You could tell like everyone thought about it. My dad was there, he was chilling and shit, like he's in good spirits and good health. So like, I don't know, it was just dope. It was dope. Like, and like as far as a gift that maybe I felt was most special or whatever, bro, a physical gift, the few books that I got, like Redesigning the Mind, 48 Laws of Power, like these different books. Most people like they might be like, yo, I read it before, whatever. But it's like it's always good to reread things, right?
I agree.
I'm never the type of person that just as soon as I obtain some information, act like, oh, I have it down pat, I'll never forget it. It's always good to reread and tap in. But yeah, man, it was dope. Got some dope books. Yeah, man, it was good. And then just again, seeing the family, dope ass experience. It felt like I was a younger kid again because it was like you're not stressing certain things specifically for that day, you know? Oh, there's no other way to put it than that. Like it kind of, yeah, it brought like that nostalgia.
Yeah, that definitely like the no stressing for the day was, I agree with you on that one, even with my whole issues with my family as I have, but it was still like low stress. It was just like, oh, this is kind of nice.
Oh, and
Kind
that's
of
how,
nice. It's kind of nice for once.
but that's how
But
it's gotta be, man. That's how it's gotta be. Cause it's like, as we're like rough, like 5 or so days away from a new year, it's like, you think to yourself, okay, whether you're going into the new year like thinking, oh, I don't think that I want to change anything, whether you even care to like not believe, but like have New Year's resolutions. Because some people say things like, I don't believe in that. And even though it's not really about believing in something, it's more just about like, if you're gonna make changes, hopefully you're doing them 365. You're not really waiting for the start of a new year. But no one's perfect. So using that as a reason, like at the start of a new year, it's like a fresh start. Using that as a reason, I'm not going to judge you for it. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
I'm in the
But I
middle
don't know.
ground with that one this year, honestly. Like, I've always been like that. I don't believe in resolutions. Always, you should like strive to work on yourself 365. But like, I do see the value of a new year starting to be like, new year, new me, all that sort of thing, right? But like, I've before like not even like consciously thinking about this, I've been writing down like more of like goals for not just like this channel and whatnot, whatever else, like personal things I'm trying to like get accomplished and stuff, and like do some of that things, like, and at this point loose, just waiting to see what happens with things go like restriction wise, loose plans to do things in the future with my girlfriend and stuff like that. So it it's stuff like that. Like, it's just like, I don't want to say like resolutions or stuff like that, but just plans for the future, like more of like is more of how I'm looking at it. But
Oh,
like
but it's
like
like
more
goals.
so
It's like goals.
concrete plan. Yeah,
Yeah,
goals for the
yeah.
future. Yeah.
It's more goals and like checkpoints that you're trying to reach. But think about it from a standpoint of, even in the sense of like whether you have a partner, you don't have a partner, like, but if you do have a partner, it's like even getting to know them better, right? Like we live in a society where it's like like, okay, I was having a conversation with my sister yesterday, and we were talking about how like the conversation got deep, but like kind of how it started was like people are afraid to kind of ask the hard questions, like because they think that, and not saying like you're trying to offend people or say something in a rude way, but asking like the questions where it's like, quote unquote, getting to know someone, and then like once they give you an answer to said question, seeing if their actions follow after. It's like we're just talking about like how does one take life to the next level or maximize what you're trying to go through if you're kind of like afraid to truly like ask somebody what's going on, or truly like let somebody know what's going on in your life. Not saying that you'd want to, again, you're not, it's never coming from a place of like a negative place, but just, I don't know, it just makes you think, even with the homies, like, again, it doesn't have to be just strictly romantic relationships, but it's like, because you might know somebody for quote unquote 10 years, but you don't really know them in the sense of, you know, that you haven't actually asked them certain deep ass questions that you might want to know if you trust this person to one day save your life, or he's such a close homie that one day he might be the godfather to your children if something bad ever happened to you. Like, we sometimes get into a situation where we're afraid to ask said questions, or we choose not to ask these questions because like we might not want to know the answer. And it's like, if you're with said friend or if you're with said girlfriend, it's like, or said wife or said whatever, it's like, why are we afraid to ask said questions? Like, I don't know. It's just something we were talking about. And it kind of got me thinking, like, because like you said, like wanting to, like, whether it's by yourself or with a partner, like travel the world or tackle goals or combine your goals. It sparked my brain to think, like, I was just talking about something like that yesterday. But what are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely like it's when you said like depth with relationships and getting to know people, there's a thing I have here. It's a friendship pyramid. It's more of an Arabic thing, but
Okay.
it's like it's just basically like all the way you go up, just different levels of friendship. And it's just even it like looking at that and like using that as like a measuring post on your real life, just seeing like, oh, where would so and so fit on this pyramid? Like how would I, that sort of thing.
Okay.
It's not necessarily having to have that thing like the actual picture in front of you sort of thing, you know what I mean? But like just that idea of there's levels to this shit when it comes to getting to know somebody. And also you can keep knowing, you don't stop knowing a person, you don't keep getting to learn new things about a person unless you ask those questions like you said,
Yeah.
and unless you keep pushing like what we're talking about, what we're gonna like do sort of things, like like continuing to have experiences and like and just shit like that. But like if it's it's that effort to do those things, and I think around here like we find like just because like we don't have much to do and except hang out with people, like tend to find out pretty quick like what you're all about. Like we'll hang out and talk for like, you'll hang out with somebody and talk with them for like 6-7 hours a day. You pretty much get to know somebody in a day at that point. As you know what I mean? Like you get to know basically what they're about. People are full of shit sometimes, and this place is full of people who are full of shit. So it's a matter of just like listening to like what people have to say, and not just that, but like you said, asking the right questions and pushing like where are we going with this, like how, like what are we talking about here, well this and that, like well we've thought of this, like different perspectives and all that as well too.
It's like in my opinion, it's like a conscious decision to do that, to ask said questions. And the reason why I say questions, like making that like the main focus in what we were talking about like yesterday or whatever, is like, because it's like you might have like one, you'll never know unless you ask like what you were trying to figure out. But at the same time, it's like sometimes people just say statements and it might not hold true, which is why you have to watch their actions after they make a statement. But I'd rather ask you so that to see if you're going to just respond or if you're going to say, yo, man, let me get back to you on that. I haven't really thought about that yet. How you answer questions, how you choose to like, because then it kind of shows like if you can learn like what kind of person someone is. You're not worried about them bullshitting you and just kind of answering real quick. Mm-hmm. They're saying to you, hold on, man, let me have a couple minutes to think about that. Like, at least it allows you to be like, okay, this person's actually putting some thought into the question. Because we can all just say whatever when someone asks us something, but it's like, is it holding true? Am I seeing the actions follow? But that's why I'm saying, like, it goes, like, we were talking about, like, romantically, or, like, if you're in a relationship with somebody, but again, it could stem out to, like, whether it's a friend or whatever. So I guess, as you mentioned, like, the kind of like a chart where you would, like, categorize what friends go where. I don't know. It just makes me think, like, the people who we bring into our lives, it's like it's kind of like we can't really be afraid to get to know them, because that's when you mess around and 5, 6, 7 years later, you might still be with said person, but you're saying like, I don't even know this person. And then you're saying, wait a minute, how do we get here if we didn't even, like, because you could be years, or, you know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be like a few months of not knowing someone because you're choosing not to ask, you know? I don't know.
It really has a lot like that keep your circle tight sort of thing and whatnot. Like it's, I see the value in that. At the same time, I see the value in like, oh, so-and-so coming in and we'll talk to them and see how they're doing. Let's bring them into the circle sort of thing. Like have a certain, like, I see the value in both ways right now. Like I've always been like keep like a short like inner circle of like real like friends, and those are the people like Pool and like my brother and Greg and other people who and like you who I've known and have seen, like you said, the actions. I've seen like been there for me when it was like I needed that, and like that sort of thing. Like I know like if it like when the shit came down, it would like I know where the people would be, you know what I mean? Those are the people I keep like I don't like those are the people I give the most time for. And then from else there it just like circles out like a ripple effect sort of thing, how I look at it. Like
Okay, word.
It's just to what degree I'm willing to let people into my like not even just trust, but just like time and energy as well too. Because if you want to know about me, this is the 48th podcast we've done. Like my life's pretty well out there, as much as I've guarded a lot of it. But like,
but Trent, think about it like this: although we put up so much out, these are just bits and fragments. Even though me or you might go on like a 2 or 3 minute little monologue for a second, we're still not saying like, "Yo, I believe in this." And even if we do definitively say things, bro, it's like you can mess around and get new information 2-3 weeks later, and then your view changes on said subject that you had like on a previous podcast, and we might not revisit those topics, so the world wouldn't really know that you had changed your view. Now, if you get a chance to, like, if somehow we revisit it on a genuine conversation or whatever, that's different. Like, it is what it is, but because then at least you can update the world, right? But it just makes me think, like, I don't know. It's like we sometimes give our lives, like a good portion of our lives, but these people still don't really know us like that. But that's why like asking those types of questions, or I guess the right questions, is so important in my opinion.
100%. And not even just like, asking the right question. And then the question to that begets is, what's the right question? You know what I mean? Like, and that's a completely subjective thing, I think. Like if it's something like, if I don't know how else to put it, except it's if you in your own head have like it corresponds with personal beliefs as well too, but also like a tell, like whatever, like it's something like, if I say this and this is the response I get from it, that's a red flag or a green flag sort of thing, whatever. Like
you have your own like system of like, not to say judgment as far as like you're trying to judge the person, but just within your own realm of morality or how you look at life. Okay, this is a red flag to me. Okay, this is a green flag to me. But it's kind of scary because some people are so afraid to even ask that question. Hey, what do you think about this, this, and this? Hey, if a man said this, this, and this to you, what would be your reaction? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but you're just afraid to even ask those questions, which why we kind of sparked the conversation yesterday or whatever, just about like why people are afraid to do that. And then how do people expect to get to know people if they choose not to ask said questions, or even choose to, because like, I don't want to, every time I bring up such and such, she gets mad or he gets mad. And then it's like, okay, well, there's an issue there, and we got to try to solve that, because it can't be a matter of like we on Harry Potter and shit, and you can't say what's that evil wizard's name and
Voldemort.
Shit. Sorry,
Voldemort.
Voldemort. If you fuck around and say his name, and then he comes, and then you know what I mean, like some real shit happens, some negative shit, like, you know what I mean, like it's just
Candyman.
Basically, or like you say that, and then all of a sudden he appears. It's like, yeah, bro, I don't know. In my opinion, the moment and it's not about asking them in a rude way or whatever, but it's like, I'm trying to get to know you, like, because I want to spend X amount of time with you. I want to spend, whether it's your life, like I want to spend my life with you or whatever. So we got to figure that shit out, where the communication is so dope, even if it's uncomfortable, just knowing that like, yo, I'm not here to judge you, even if you say something I don't like. But it's just like, but I would like to be able to have that openness with that specific one person, right?
Yeah, it's real hard, man. Like opening up to people and like being like I said, having that openness with a person is really fucking difficult. Like, be it like a person, like a like a relation, like a loving relationship, or even just like a friendship with people, because sometimes like people can change and sometimes not for the better. Like it sucks to even like think about that, but like sometimes you could like tell the wrong information to the wrong person and they use that against you, sort of thing, especially in like a town like this or wherever where bad gas travels fast. So like it's
That's
hard, but
so true.
it's a big reason why a lot of people try to keep their circle small around here, and why like I don't see an issue with that at all, frankly. And I try not.
No issue with that. No issue with on my part,
never,
either. You know what I mean? Like
never. I've never had that issue. I'm a fucking hermit for the most part, if I had my choice. But I've now in like my last years or so, I've become a lot more social, and like, fuck, I go to the pub and like it's like the place where everyone knows your name, sort of thing. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, it's like, oh, this is weird. This is weird. You know what I mean? Like I'm used to traveling incognito. Like people, oh, you were fucking here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm used to that.
Which is not a terrible way to live either. You know?
No, like, it's to each their own, really. Like, I don't know. It's really how you want to live your life, frankly. But like, it's just different. And I don't know, with a lot more people comes a lot more problems. I guess some people could look at it like that, but I don't know. I try to see it with a lot more people comes a lot more perspectives and a lot more stories, which is what I'm interested in.
Which is cool, because that's why it's like, of course, like I can see it on both sides as well, where it's like keeping so close knit that you don't have to give anybody information, so that you don't have any future villains in your fucking storyline. Like, but at the same time,
pretty much.
but at the same time, it's like holding yourself to such a standard and being so serious with yourself, like taking yourself so serious to the point where you're like, you don't talk to anybody. And not saying that you have to spill the beans and spill your whole guts and your deepest, darkest secrets, but I'm saying enough to where a person understands / knows you, because, and you've proven on a consistent basis, like, okay, this person's, and I'm not talking about it on a wavelength of this person's not ever going to change. I mean consistent as far as if you're consistently doing dope things and consistently evolving, that's amazing. People will know you for that, whatever. But like, if you're willing to actually have a conversation with somebody, that's different, because it's like, you're not afraid to be vulnerable, so to speak. And most people are just too tough, or unfortunately, we have our own insecurities, so we're too afraid or whatever to share. But I was just saying more from a standpoint of, because it's not everybody who I'm talking about, Trent. I'm not saying every single person you meet, you got to give every piece of information to. I was just saying more just like whether it's an intimate partner or your really close family members. Why are we so afraid to ask certain like difficult questions that will allow us to grow more or communicate better or build a stronger bond moving forward? You know, that's the question.
I think to put even a slight bit of an answer to this, like I think the reason why a lot of people don't, myself included, is rocking the boat. Like they don't want to upset like how things are going. Like, yeah, it may be fucking awful and destroying your like how you feel about yourself, or how like, you know, whatever else, but like, oh, I don't want to upset what's happening right now. It's from there was a book I read when I was in like high school, like early high school, and it was a quote from that book: do I dare disturb the universe? And to which I've always believed that question is rhetorical. The answer is yes. You always should, like in some regard. Like,
I'm so glad you said that,
because like nothing's going to get done by stagnation. Nothing is going to get done. We can keep things. It's nothing wrong to have routine and keep things sort of the same, but at the same time, there's everything wrong with that at the same time. Like you need to have fresh ideas. You need to have fresh things going in there. And if people are just committed to keeping their same like shithead mentalities they've been on since 1952, see ya. Like,
no, but it's crazy, Trent. It's so crazy that you say that. Like, not crazy to use that word because it's not a negative thing, but I'm saying like it's so strange that you say that, because most people would answer with the reverse, saying like, no, I don't want to, like when you say like to disturb the universe, but it's like, I'd rather not rock the boat. I'd rather keep everything the same. But it's like, are you really growing with that person? Are you really moving forward with that person? Because you're kind of living in a fantasy if you choose, and it's not about specifically, like, I know we're just using that phrase, rock the boat, but you asking said questions, like, that shouldn't be an issue because, I mean, granted, if you're delivering it with love, it shouldn't be a argument or a fight or whatever, because this is something you genuinely want to know. And if it's something that could help in a later time, because at least you know how, at least if this person's saying, I don't plan on changing said mentality or said way I feel about this, cool. At least you know for a future time, that person does not rock with whatever, like whether it's like a wine or whether it's like, you know what I mean? Like roller coasters or whatever. It's like that person does not rock with that shit. At least you know, versus you just never ask. And then you bring them to a surprise birthday party at fucking Wonderland or something, and they freak out and start going crazy because they have a phobia of roller coaster. You never even asked, what are you afraid of? Like, do you have any phobias? Like, you never asked the important questions, in my opinion. That shit is wild to me, you know?
And it's just even like basic questions like that. Like, fuck, I was watching Coach Carter today. So it's like, what's your biggest fear, young man? So that's all I can keep. That's just running through my head right now as soon as you said that.
Our biggest fear is not to be inadequate. It is to be. That shit was so hard, bro. That shit was, Coach Carter, that movie was so hard, bro.
Man, I watched that when it first came out, and then we were scrolling through Netflix at work today, and I was just like, all right, we're gonna watch this because I haven't seen it since it came out. I was just like, oh, this is so dope. But for real though, like
that's real. But like Coach Carter.
But it's the simple questions like that, like, what's your biggest fear, or like, I used to have it saved because, spoiler alert, that's how I picked up a lot of girls. Was, oh, that sounds so awful. I don't want to say that.
Oh, it's not even bad,
because
man.
I didn't pick up a lot of girls. It's how I chatted up a lot of girls, like especially online and stuff like that. I throw a random weird, like low bar softball question at them, like
see, that's not even bad, Trent. You wanted to take that back, like, to the people listening. You asking certain questions or trying to find different methods to try to engage in learning about someone, there's nothing wrong with that. You can, like, people can say, oh, he or she had a plan or had ulterior motives to try to get with me. No, I just wanted to get to know you, and I didn't know certain questions to ask, so I Googled some, or so I asked certain women in my life, like sisters or aunts, what questions I should ask. It's just, you're trying to learn how to court better or how to, like, engage better. So y'all people listening, y'all ain't gonna make my boy Trent feel bad about that shit.
The only part I feel bad about is to pick up a lot of women part, because that's bullshit.
No, but it's like, fuck, never mind that. If you got to engage Trent with multiple women, not on a negative way, but and then eventually, unfortunately, the conversation or whatever just fizzled out. That is what it is. People out here, Trent, are so afraid to even admit certain things like that. Like, yeah, I had a little bit of assistance in my game or in my way how I engage women or whatever, or even like just how you act, like in a job interview, for example. You getting different pointers or tips to see if you can get into a dope ass job, aka get with a dope ass woman. How is that supposed to be a negative thing, especially if it's something you feel is necessary in your life? A dope ass woman is necessary in your life. Why would you not try to find methods to obtain that? I don't know, man. People just, maybe I look at life weird because remember, like, you know me, I have weird methods of doing certain things, but if they make sense, why would I not do the method? I don't care if, like, I know, like, it's not about New Year's resolutions or nothing like that, because maybe we'll probably have one more episode right around that time, but it's just in my opinion about saying, okay, something I gotta leave behind is caring about what motherfuckers think. Bro, you know what? Give me 27 seconds. I'm gonna grab a hat that my sister made me because she's dope as fuck at what she does. And the designs are little, like, It might look a little wild on this camera. Look at this shit, bro.
That's amazing.
You see this? You see the little moose? I'll put it up a little
That's
closer.
awesome.
See that? Oh,
dude, that's dope.
Y'all don't even understand, like, but I say all that, one of my gifts or whatever. I say all that to say, though, people might look at me like I'm crazy, Trent, in the sense of, because I'm grown, but the designs are some dope ass Canadian moose just tripping and shit. But people will be like, oh, this guy, he's wearing a moose. But then people wear Canada Goose and there's a little goose on the side, or they'll wear like whatever, like famous person's clothing that has a little weird designs on it, or looks like it's supposed to be worn by the other gender, or whatever the case is. I'm saying it from a standpoint of, you gotta not care what people think about you. You gotta just live and do what you want to be happy, and and if it's a matter of learning to be dope as fuck with somebody and getting to know them, and y'all both prosper, and you might be 4'3" and she's 6 foot, and so she's way taller than you, but y'all make it work and y'all love each other, bro, do that shit. Like, we gotta stop caring about what people think, but at the same time, when it comes to the people we do care about and love, we got to get to know them motherfuckers. That's all I'm trying to say this episode. And I hope these motherfuckers, these people out here listening get it,
I'll leave you with one last piece of wisdom that that the guy who actually taught me for my gun license was put this out there, like at the start of the whole thing. He said, Confucius said, he who asks a question is a fool for 5 minutes. He who never asks the question is a fool for all time.
And we can leave on that. Bro, that's a gem. He's dropping jewels like his chain broke. Like my boy Sahai says, I drop jewels like my chain broke, and I spit canaries. Trent's just out here dropping gems on you bitches, yo. Like, because if you ain't going to ask the question, you'll never know, though. Straight up. You'll just never know if you never ask the questions. Like my boy Trent just said. Yo, you already know what it is. I'm Graham.
I'm Trent.
And we gonna rock this motherfucker out. You know what I mean? This is another episode of Ultra Fly Talk. Thanks for rocking with us.